Nomad at Night, starring the one and only Nomad.
Yo, no maniacs, what's going on? What's good this evening? Man, this is Nomad at Night. I got kids and Keith with me. I got Doodle back there in the background producing along with Chris, man. How you guys doing tonight, man? So we got a bunch to talk about. There's some deadlines that's coming up here soon. We just got through doing the combine. There's a bunch of stuff to talk about there. So this is a bunch of conversations we're gonna have here tonight, man. But how about we start with some quick pleasantries around here? Let's go ahead, kids.
What's cracking, no maniacs? The chat is already popping off. I love it. Sunday night, we got some combine players in situations to discuss. Should be a fun show. Chris, you jumped in. What do you got?
Go ahead.
No, Chris.
We go around. Chris. Go ahead, Keith.
What's going on, No Maniacs? Thank you for jumping in with us this Sunday evening. And yes, sir, the combine was quite interesting, Thursday to today. I'm just looking forward to talking football. And just once again, as always, it's always a pleasure to jump on with you fine gentlemen. Nomad, what's going on, brother?
First of all, hey, everybody that's here involved in the show, and if you're in the chat, if you're watching somewhere else on some other platform, some streaming network, or you listen to an Audible, please hit the like button, man. Please hit the like button. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. We would really appreciate that. Let's just talk. I think the closest conversation that we need to have right now, I think we got some dates. There's going to be some deadlines come Tuesday. And I was hoping sometime during this combine that Jalen Johnson's deal was going to get announced, but so far, no deal, no word on if the negotiations are stalled. Are they continuing to talk? Because come Tuesday, he's got to be on the books, or he gets the franchise tag, man. So what do you guys think about that?
Kids. Sorry, man. I got family stuff just popped up into my ear. Where were we? What are we doing here?
Deadline is Tuesday for the franchise tag, and I was telling them, JJ, I was hoping that some news would come out of the combine that they were close to a deal, or at least something. I heard not a peep of it.
So Pulse did actually touch on that a little bit, right? So he did mention that that they're somewhat close. He has been talking to JJ. I'm not sure if this is going to be a market setting situation, but from what they were saying, he doesn't think JJ's going. He doesn't want to use the franchise tag, but we are at that particular moment in time. So we'll see what happens next week. But it does sound like they've been discussing this and trying to hash this out.
Chris, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, man. Yeah, I don't think. I mean, from now till Tuesday I don't think is it. Yeah, it is Tuesday's the 5th. Yeah, from now to Tuesday's an eternity. So they're going to get something done. I mean, either way, he's not going anywhere. But I would imagine, he was doing quite a bit of negotiating during the combine when he touched on it. Negotiating through the press. So. I think they'll get it done, man. I'm at the point now where they got the money. Just go ahead and sign him, get him in, and let's move forward.
Yeah, I think the same. I did see a little something, and backing up what kids have said. I know Poles did mention it, and saw a little something on the internet where they seem to be close. Right now, it seems like they're right at that 20 mil mark. I don't know how true that is. I guess we'll find out more by Tuesday. Hopefully. They don't have to use the franchise tag, but either way, I don't think the man is leaving the building. So Pose is going to do what he has to do and need to do to solidify that deal.
Well, I'll tell you this, man. Here's where I think Poles took care of himself in the offseason last year, during the draft last year, by getting those 2 corners. And for the eventuality that if we come to the table and we offer him what we think is a fair deal to him, and he does not accept that deal and he wants more money, the I think they don't. I don't think they want to use the franchise tag, but I know they want to keep him. I know they want to keep, but I don't think that franchise tag is something that you really want to use if you don't have to. And so I think I believe they're going to keep. I'm like you guys. I think they're going to find a way to keep him here, whether it's sign, tag him, or whatever they do. But I think there's a slight outside chance that something could go left. It could be a draft day trade or something like that. I don't know, man, but I think they have a lot of options having 2 rookie corners on team, and I know they're going to go after another one. I know that for a fact. You know, I know everybody's probably like, "How do you know that, Nomad, for a fact?" Because Blue said they're going to keep drafting corners. They're going to keep drafting D tackles and positions like that. They're going to always draft them, and so there's a universe where it can go either way. But I think, as far as percentages go, I do believe the percentage is much higher that they signed Jalen Johnson some kind of way, whether it's by tag, get a contract done, however it happens. But I do think there's a slight chance that something could go awry and they may have to make a move. Poles has positioned himself with the roster depth to be able to pad himself if he made that choice. So, I mean, if you guys want to speak to that.
No, I don't think he definitely has the roster depth now, to franchise tag Jalen and move from there. I would be very surprised if he drafted a cornerback this season. That's just me. I don't see that being it's clearly a position of strength. They can double down on it. You know, if you think they will, they maybe they do. But that would surprise me. I think there's bigger holes on the roster that they need to fill at this present time, and they have the luxury of doing that if they sign and keep Jalen. So I expect him to actually get this one done. I think he will. That's just me.
Well, Flus did say that. Flus said that they would draft a cornerback. So that's got to give you some insight into their strategy as far as using the pick, because they won't be able to draft a cornerback being that low on their priority list without extra picks. So
not with 6. You're right.
No,
not with 6 picks.
There's no way they'll draft a quarterback. They got too much depth. So to me, that's another telling insight into their strategy and what they plan to do with the number 1 pick, and that is to turn it into more picks. So either way, I think Jalen Johnson is back in the fold. Either by the tag, which I think they could use it just as a tool to extend the negotiation and still get him signed to something long term. I don't think he'll play under the tag.
No, I don't think he will either. I do believe if there's anything that could be potentially a hiccup with regards to the negotiations, I see it maybe being language in the contract. I don't think it's going to be a matter of years involved, because Poles did allude to the fact that he wants to get a deal done to where Jalen gets an opportunity to go for another contract before he hits the age of 30. So, by him just saying that lets you know that I think that they're pretty close on the number of years within the contract, as well as even maybe just as close on the number. If anything, I think it's all about the language and in any contract negotiation, up until the deal is signed and the ink is dry, anything can go wrong. But I do believe that that part of it will get taken care of as long as they get the language taken care of. More importantly, with regards to whether or not they're going to draft another corner, I just think that I know that they're going to definitely go after a safety, but Poles and Flus seems to always want to double down when it comes to that defensive backfield.
All I know is this, man. I think that we're not as good a team without Jalen Johnson. Not as good a defense. And that's just facts. That was evident in the Green Bay game. I think that was the last game, and he didn't play. Right? Am I right, kids?
You are 100% bang on, sir.
Did you notice his absence during that game?
It was definitely clear and present.
And so to me, it's we got to the young guys that we have a lot of potential and they have a lot of upside. But there's no substitute for vet presence. You know what I mean? And really a really seasoned vet that really has seen everything, knows how to react to it, and is on the uprise in the zone coverage scheme. He just wasn't used to playing that when he was when Vic was here. He was a man tic-tac sticky cover corner when he was here. When Vic was here. Now he's learning how to play in space and learning how to watch the quarterback at the same time. There's times when he's got to tack up and go man to man, but a lot of times, more times than not, he's playing in zone and he's reading the quarterback and being able to break on balls. And they're just now seeing the start of what Jalen Johnson can become. And so I think it behooves them to make sure they get something done. Make sure you get something done.
He's the elder statesman.
Yeah, I mean, he's a leader in the locker room now. He's probably the leader in the secondary as far as that goes now with Bojack gone. And so, there's a lot of different reasons like that you need to consider why you need to sign this kid. I think he's starting to become one of the better cornerbacks in the league as far as zone corners. And, he's starting to get really good at what he does. I just hope they figure out a way to get something done. I don't like franchise tags, because I don't think players like him. But Jalen has said, I seen him on, I think it was on 670 or something like that, where he did they mentioned it to him. He would be okay playing on the tag. And see, me hearing him say that makes me feel a little bit better about the franchise tag, because my own thing with the whole thing is I've seen people have a negative reaction or adverse reaction to being franchise tagged when they supposed to have gotten their money. And so him saying that makes me feel a whole lot better. I think Poles knows that if they can't come to the numbers, get to the numbers that they want, I think it's like 16 million or something like that. Or I might be wrong. It's 16, 18 million. I don't know.
It's probably going to be higher than 16 now, right?
Corners,
No,
I think
for corners,
I think this tag is
corners is
17.
18. It's almost 19.
It's 19. It's 19.4.
Is it
19.4 million?
No wonder
under the franchise tag. Yes, sir. 19.
No wonder he'd be happy about it. Yeah, I'd be all right.
I'm saying either way, it's a pay raise.
Well, but here's the thing: they can, if they sign him to a long-term deal, his yearly number is going to be higher than that. But they can manipulate the cap and the way they set the contract up, where the actual cap number may be lower than that if they can do long-term.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things they can do with the way they structure it. So. They'd love to have that flexibility.
Somebody's Trapper Keeper saying 18-1.
No,
I thought it was 18 something too, but it doesn't matter.
It's 19.4.
Okay. It's 18-1, 19-4.
It's 19.4 under the franchise, and I think it's 18 under the transition.
It ain't important. I just wanted to see what the ballpark number was. That's close enough. 18, 19. Still good money for him. But I digress, man. I think just hearing him say that he would be okay with the franchise tag and be just fine with that. I'm fine with him signing it, but I hope it has no adverse effects to how he feels about the team moving forward, man, because I like Jalen Johnson. But the next hard deadline is coming on March 13th. That is the start of free agency. So that conversation is going to start picking up in earnest. There's a few there's a few names that have recently hit that are guys that are going to be free agents. And
yes,
one name that stuck out to me over the weekend was Tyron Smith. Cowboys. I know he's hurt a lot and but under the circumstances, I wouldn't what you guys. I think when he's healthy, he's probably one of the top two left tackles in the league. And if they want to go a route of, okay, we can draft a guy, keep Braxton, and also bring in a vet to give us some kind of depth. Is he a guy that you would actually consider putting on the roster given his injury history?
No.
Tyron Smith, the Cowboys left tackle.
No, I mean, not only his injury history, but his age. And he's going to cost you more. He's going to cost you more than you want to pay for.
It's the dollars and cents and the age that make it a little bit questionable when you have Braxton Jones functioning at that position. Now, I'm not saying he's quite as good as Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith is a clear upgrade, but for how long? So that leads you to, if he's a stopgap, who are you developing? Is it Braxton? Because if it's Braxton, you just leave him there. Outside of that, then just go get a left tackle. Draft
Yeah,
one.
Well,
I think
Trade
their
your first
option is to draft one. That's the only option. I don't think they go out to sign somebody that could be a starting.
It's going to be a vet tackle that comes in, Chris. I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
Not to start though. They're not going to spend starters money on a veteran.
no, they're not. And besides, I mean, come on, guys, let's be realistic about something here. I get it. Everybody's not on the Braxton Jones train, but the fact that this kid was a fifth round pick, he's 2 years into the position. If he goes out and works on, building up his base even more than like he did last offseason and continue to build upon that, I get it. He may not ever be a Pro Bowl left tackle, but I think he can definitely hold down the fort, and I think within him, he wants to be a great left tackle, especially being a fifth round pick. He wants to prove everybody that he can hold his own and stay at that position. And I think his relationship with Justin makes him want to work even harder, So I'm a believer in him in regards to I think he can hold down the fort. I don't think we need to go out and spend starter type money on a free agent, a veteran free agent. If we want to bring in one just to be able to add depth, great. I'm with it. But more importantly, draft one and develop him behind Braxton, you know. And at some point, if it comes to that, somebody emerges to be the actual starter and Braxton become a swing, then we can do that as well. But I wouldn't go out and spend no big money on a free agent veteran left tackle unless it's somebody that is all pro.
Well, I don't know what the Bears are going to do, what they're going to consider the treatment for that left tackle, but I know what my eyes tell me over the last couple of years watching Braxton Jones, and I tell people all the time I'm a big Braxton Jones fan when we got him. He's got some elite type of traits to him. But Braxton Jones cannot anchor. He cannot anchor at all, man. And that's unfortunate that I even have to say that. But I've watched that kid and watched that kid and watched that kid. And it's hard to actually find a flaw in him other than, he jumps off sides a little bit too much. But this is glaring. I'm telling you, when you watch the tape, it is glaring. When he gets a heavier defensive end on him, it's like they all get the same memo. Speed the power on Braxton Jones and run him right into the quarterback. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I've watched Braxton Jones get set in Justin Fields' lap. I mean, it is clear to me, Braxton Jones, he's going to be a good tackle, but he does not have the bottom end strength to be a starter. In my opinion, there is no way. I don't think they go into the season with him starting as our left tackle. I don't see
it. Is that coaching? Or is that something
no,
that he can build on?
No, he just doesn't have the genetics. He doesn't have a bottom on him. He's thin as a rail beneath the waist, man. And you gotta have some butt on you to be able to stop big, powerful people from trying to run you back into the quarterback. And that's how you anchor. It's your calves, it's your buttocks, it's just your frame from your quads, all of that. You have to be. He's got decent quads.
Maybe he can get a BBL.
I mean, nah, man. No, I'm serious. Seriously, man.
Yeah, trip to Brazil, get it set up. I gotta do that.
He actually made.
I just had to throw. I had to get a laugh in there, bro. I'm sorry.
Braxton, I love Braxton Jones, but I just can't. I can't look at that and sit here and tell you guys with a straight face that we'll be all right at left tackle with Braxton Jones. No, the hell we won't, man. He can't get it done. He's a good swing tackle, and he can get you out of games. The smaller guys, the quicker guys, he seems to do okay with. But those bigger, powerful guys, they will walk and they will put him on skates, man. It's just
well, you know what, Nomad, that brings me to this. This was
I was gonna get there. I was gonna get there, Chris, but since you did it, go ahead.
Yeah. That was a story off of Pro Football Talk by Michael David Smith. And this is something you guys remember. months ago, I talked to you about this. This guy he's got the stuff to play left tackle, man. And he's huge and he's quick. He didn't run. He
Yeah, he
did not.
did.
He, he ran.
I don't know if he ran the 40, but I
No,
seen.
Latham didn't run. He was there, but he didn't run the 40.
I don't know if he ran the 40, but I seen him doing some drills, looking real good.
No, he didn't run the 40.
Moving was real good, man. Like you do the I don't know what they call that drill. It's like the back pedal forward and shuffle to the left, right.
The 3-cone.
No, I don't think it's the 3-cone. It's just one of those directional. You back pedal and then you move the ball left or right. You shuffle to the left, shuffle to the right.
Oh, it's a 20-yard shuttle.
I don't know what they call it, man.
They do a split. They do a 3-cone, and they do a shuttle.
All I know is the drill I was looking at. I was very surprised at the quickness of his feet. He looked really nimble. And so, I was seeing a report of somebody, I think somebody in the chat group that I'm involved in put that out there, and I was reading it, and I was just like, he's determined to be seen as a left tackle. And I don't think there's any reason why he can't. It would be, for me and J.C. Latham, he's got to lose. I mean, what was he playing at? Like 360, Chris?
He came in at, they measured him at 335, 345, somewhere in there. They had him listed at one point at 360.
Yeah, I think I saw 360 when I looked at his measurables on ESPN. I saw that. But if they can get him to anywhere between 330, 335, 338 in that range, whatever feels comfortable for him, and get him a little lighter on his feet, there's no reason why. J.C. Latham is a wall. And when I tell you a wall, when he gets his hands on people, it's over.
342 is what he weighed.
It is over. I mean, absolutely over. So J.C. Latham is one of the guys that I can see. A lot of people want to. I think he's responding to a lot of people trying to say he needs to transition to guard, and no tackle wants to hear that because it's less money, right?
Well, I haven't heard his name mentioned at guard, only at right tackle, and every right tackle wants to be left tackle because that's where the big money is. So.
All I can tell you is when he gets out there and gets into an NFL camp, the speed and the skill set is going to be different. So he's going to have to really be what he says he is on the out there at tackle, or he will get moved to the inside. Point blank, period.
Hey, I want to throw something in on this. What if they switched him around?
Switch him around how?
Take out right tackle, move him to left, and take Braxton, move him over to
we-
right.
we-
I know that there's technique differences with regard to flip flopping them, but what if? What you think about that, Nomad?
Well, we talked about that weeks ago. I think, man, we've been talking about that pretty much the whole offseason.
Yeah, but I mean, since we're talking about it now, and he can't go get a BBL.
I'll tell you what we was talking about, because I think me and Samo, I've watched enough Talise Fuaga tape to know that I feel like he's the best tackle in the draft, and I think he can play left side too. Also, this is what I do know. I know Braxton Jones can play the left side. Not Braxton Jones, but Darnell Wright can play the left side. I know that for a fact. Now, what I said was, it would not surprise me this offseason if the plan was to, because this draft is so right tackle heavy. I mean, there is some really dominant right tackles in this draft, just as dominant as Darnell Wright was when he was coming out. Darnell Wright can function on the left side just as well as he can on the right. There's a universe where I can see them flipping sides and getting one of these young right tackles in, boom, and there you got your bookends right there.
So I wanted to hit this particular chat. FFG, what's up? He asked that I read this out. So Antoine Winfield is also a free agent. We could sign Burns, Winfield, Cushenberry, and re-sign Jalen Johnson. Now you have a plan for the draft to get everything else with the haul. Makes a lot of sense to me, FFG.
Well,
I have one more to throw in before we get back to it, and this one is actually just for Chris. Chris, Peyton Wilson says he'll hire you as an agent if his present agent doesn't work out.
I got him, man. Did you see that young man run?
Hey, man.
He made money. Did he make money?
A lot of people made money this weekend here, and he's definitely one of those guys. If you guys were sleeping on it, I might have been sleeping on it. I got to see the tape earlier on after Chris kind of pointed him out to me. The kid is the real deal. I don't think he's a joke at all. Somebody needs to go get him. So we don't even need a linebacker, but like go get him.
Hey, if he's there and we get enough picks, go ahead and treat yourself to a treat.
Here's the next item I wanted to speak to. It appears as though Brian Burns, the trade talks have been shuttled and stalled by the team. They don't want to pick up the phone no more.
Of course they don't. They got a new guy in there too, right? They got new folks over there.
So I think I think it's fair to say we need to take him out of your free agency, fantasy, franchise mode considerations. As of now, they don't want him out there. They ain't entertaining no conversations about trading him.
No, he's a free agent, bro.
He's a free agent.
Sign him. They're not going to franchise him, or they didn't say they wouldn't franchise.
Wait, hold up. So I misread. Wait a minute. So I misread what I misread something.
Yeah, he is. They're no longer going to negotiate with him. They didn't say they wouldn't franchise him. They did not say that. But going back to FFG Styles' comment, Tampa has said that they're probably going to tag Winfield. They haven't yet, but the word out of their camp is that they plan to tag him if they cannot sign him long term. So I kind of took him off my wish list, but he's a playmaker.
So what do y'all think is going to happen to Burns this year?
Well, again, if the negotiations are stopped, that means potentially he's either a free agent or they tag him. If they do tag him, then somebody's got to pony up a little bit of capital to gain access to that particular player, and things become a little bit iffy. But realistically, they're tagging a player that I don't know. If negotiations have broke down, you're holding him hostage, and that's not a good situation for him to be in.
No, I really believe J2K's. If you put J2K's comment back up there right here, let me see that. Burns he did take the season off, and he wasn't playing good, and it sounds like he wants out of Carolina. He does, man, and that goes to what they're saying. You know, you don't want hostages, man. You want volunteers. And he's at the point of his career where he doesn't want to be wasting it with a team that he feels like is going nowhere. And I could relate to that. I wouldn't want to be on a team that's you working your behind off. You work your you work your butt off. Work, and then for nothing to have that wasted. I'm taking a risk of injury. I could be ruining. Hey, dude, you either
he absolutely would not. He absolutely would not have been wasting it. You play for the contract, the next contract, whether it's at home or he's going into the market. That's to undervalue yourself and to underperform is to cost you money.
People want to win, man.
So here's the thing, though, guys.
I want to win more than I wanted to do anything.
Yeah,
here's the thing, guys.
You never got a taste of that money either.
If he screwed up the season last season and didn't play well, that means we might be able to get Brian Burns at a number that is commensurate as well.
I'm not sure I want him if he's not playing hard. I'm not sure.
I don't think he played hard last year because
I don't think it's a matter.
Hold on, Chris. Chris reads into stuff a little too much sometimes.
We're all reading into it because he ain't told us nothing.
Well,
we're all speculating.
I would just imagine that he probably might be wanting to give them reason to let him go.
I don't get it.
Look at this, man.
Not that way.
Nobody's taking into account his usage and how he was used. There was some changes to the scheme as well. And I just think in terms of adaptability, I think he feels that he fits into a different scheme a little better. And it's a possibility that this might be his way of forcing himself out. I don't see them using the franchise tag on him. I think at this point it seems like things are breaking down. And they might be comfortable with just saying, you know what, maybe we just go ahead and move on and see what we can get for him and put him out there. He can be, used as a trade or whatever, But I think at this point, I think it's more him wanting to be out and want to be somewhere where he can actually have an opportunity to play in a scheme that he feels comfortable in, and more importantly, uh, play to win now. He's not, because let's be honest, man. They're about what 3-4 years out, in with regards to what they got to build over there, and he's looking at his
Well,
career saying, "I don't have that
Maybe
kind of
longer
time."
than that if their quarterback don't turn. If he don't go to 8th grade,
Well,
it's not
that
just
as
that.
well,
They've been through 3 head coaches over the course of the last 3 years.
yeah, their owner's terrible.
right?
Well, my job.
Right. I wouldn't want to be there either.
My job is to steer and spark conversation that's interesting, and it's several ways to look at that. Chris is not wrong in his way of seeing it, and I don't think I am either. I just come at it from a different angles, guys. There's no loyalty in this league at all, man. There's no guarantees in this league. There's no guaranteed contract. There's no guarantee. You get guaranteed money in what you sign for. Whatever upfront money you get, that's the money that you're insured to get. Other than that, it's a gamble. And the truth is, teams find. I was listening to a story today. John Franklin Jr. Remember him? He came in when he was with the Bears. I think he came in on in a training camp. Real exciting athlete, man. And I think he ended up getting cut, going somewhere, and then they called him back. He was out there. He was just a free agent out there. And they called him back to play the role of, who was it? What's the fast receiver from Philly, number 10, Deshaun Jackson. All right, so this is when Pace was here. So Pace, he's out there as a free agent. So they called him out of the blue, like on I think it was like a Sunday night, Monday morning. Hey, can you come and be a scout team player for us for X amount of dollars? And are you going to play the role of Deshaun Jackson? Right. And so he was like, cool, I ain't doing nothing else. I need the money anyway. He comes in here. And when he gets here, next thing you know, he's playing Deshaun Jackson. He's playing players on offense. I mean, he's mimicking them as a scout team player. So to give the starters a look at what it would look like to play against Deshaun Jackson or whoever else. They didn't tell him they was going to put him and play him on offense too and do other stuff like play him on special teams. They just asked him to play Deshaun Jackson. And so he got here and they asked him to do more than what was asked of him. And so, he went ahead and did it, just being a good soldier. And then towards the end of practice, he was supposed to be there for the week for the scout team. Towards the end of practice, they ran him so much that he had a body cramp. And I've seen body cramps. I've never experienced one. It's from the neck down when everything starts seizing and spasming. And they had to put him in the training room, put him on IV for 2 hours. 2 hours worth of IV. Anybody had IV in them, man, you get cold as a dog when all that IV gets in you, man. Your body just automatically cools down, and you kind of get into the shivers. And so you know what they did after he was a good soldier and went ahead and did what they asked him to do? They cut him soon as his cramp stopped. He was supposed to be there for the week. And so you talk about loyalty. Some of the stuff that I hear about that goes on behind the scenes, man, people have to do the best they can for themselves. If Brian Burns wants to dog it a season, it might cost him financially on the front end. You guys are right. But I can see why somebody would do something like that. If you want to be put yourself in a better position to be on a contender. It's a dog-eat-dog world out there, man. And so it's just not always as easy to be, okay, I'm gonna work my butt off for this team. No, you don't want to work your butt off for everybody because they'll treat you. So I just had. It's
not just that. You can also get hurt during that transition season, right? If you get hurt without a contract, you're not actually covered by way of insurance. You have to go and get your own players insurance, which is extremely expensive. They don't, insurance companies don't really want to cover an athlete's body. When they get hurt and when they're out, it's a bit of an issue. It's part of an issue that, when we were talking about Allen Robinson, that's part of the problem with Allen Robinson. He already actually went through all that and got the injury when he was at Jacksonville before he came here. So going through the whole situation all over again was, you could see why he kind of took his ball and went home midway through that final season. Didn't see it happening. Didn't think they were going to re-sign him. I might get hurt, and now I'm in an insurance situation that I got to deal with and pay out of my pocket. I'll just take it easy. Now, is that the right thing to do? I'm going to say probably not, but you have to be able to sympathize with these players in those, in the middle of those contract situations. Anyways,
Well,
that's Brian Burns, bro.
well, you guys, I just had to get that out there, man, because I can. Never mind. We'll get to the next guy because another interesting name just became seemingly available on the free agent market, and that's Christian Wilkins from Miami, defensive tackle. I've been hearing his name a lot. It's been teased out there that Christian Wilkins may become available. I think it's pretty official now that he'll hit the market. So, any thoughts about Christian Wilkins, and what do you think as far as where do you think we stand in the way of maybe we could probably make a reach for him? What do you guys feel about that?
Well, I don't think they're going to spend that money. That
First
big
of all, how
money.
much do you think he might want?
Oh, he's 20 plus. He's automatically 20 plus, probably 25. I don't think they're going to invest that money on the inside of the defensive line because you got Dexter, you got my guy from South Carolina. You just gave Billings money.
Billings, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to throw 25 million at Wilkins. At least I hope they don't. I mean, my stance is if they're going to swing big like that, go ahead and get Daniil Hunter and draft another defensive tackle, or draft a guy like Darius Robinson that can kick inside on passing downs. They may or may not, but I see them swinging big probably once, especially if they're going to franchise or sign JJ. So that's big money. I think if they do swing big at another position, I think it's going to probably be D end or edge. Because I don't think they want to take reps away from Dexter right now.
I think your logic is sound, Chris. I think
Why,
also
thank you.
I also think he's hella disruptive, man. And you can't take that away from him. We got a new defensive coordinator. I know he's not in charge of the checkbook, but truth is, man, they have to consider it. They have to consider it. Whether or not they jump and make the move is a whole nother thing. But he definitely will be considered. They're going to be reaching out to his people come free agency and see how much he's going to be asking for. But whether he makes it here, I agree with you, Chris. They probably would tend to want to spend that on a defensive end.
Yeah, I think
None
so
to comment.
well.
None more to say. Oh, go ahead.
Because
go ahead.
remember,
No, I'm with you on that. I see them swinging big on the D end. I don't see them really, dumping that kind of money on a 28-year-old D tackle. If anything, you can go out, you can draft a younger D tackle, or Brian Frisk or something like that. But more importantly, I think they're going to really concentrate on that defensive end. They got to get somebody that can get to the quarterback.
and don't forget they have to sign at least one tight end. More than likely, they want to get a center, a veteran center. I mean, I know a lot of people are talking about Jackson Powers Johnson. And the guy may be good. I don't want to use I don't want to use a first round pick on a center, to be honest.
No.
So go ahead, Chris.
Bartolini looked great out there, guys. Like
Bartolini did.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
he looked
did.
He looked like
right.
a little baby Kelsey.
You're absolutely right.
He
did. I don't think he's not a first rounder. So you can get, again, if you can turn those picks into multiple picks, you can get a nice center that can have some line versatility, maybe play guard, also be the backup center and learn while a free agent guy who's not going to cost you a ton of money. That's their approach, I think, is to get a center mid money, tight end. They might bring back Mooney or pick up another wide receiver, and that'll still allow them to swing big at one position, maybe edge. And if they get a lot of draft picks, their draft pick pool is going to increase. I think it's at 15 to 17 million right now. that'll go up if they get more picks. So they got to have money to sign those picks.
So Chris, I believe I heard both of you gentlemen there on the bottom say no way we need to spend money on a defensive tackle in free agency.
Well, I didn't say no way.
Well,
I just said I didn't.
Hold on. All I'm because I'm gonna just tell you this, because if Big 95 became available, you don't think they're gonna go after him from Kansas City?
Who?
If
Chris?
he
But he's
became,
not going to become available.
I said
Chris
if,
Jones?
I
Got
said-
language in
Wait.
it was a hypothetical now.
Let me answer your question. Chris Jones, is that what we're talking about?
Yes.
I don't think they spend the 25 plus million to bring Chris Jones in. Not at 30. I think he's 30 years old. He'll be 30.
He's 30 years old.
Yeah.
I think that number is closer to 30 million.
It probably will be.
To be honest with you,
plus.
Yes,
I think they
it
absolutely would. It's you know how rare it is to have this guy absolutely changes games, man. He could single-handedly destroy a team, and you talking about changing your destiny. I mean, you could be a team right there at the precipice of really, really getting yourself in position to play for the big one. You think if that dude became available, you don't think they're gonna try to get him? You crazy.
But there's like a huge problem with that, and we just lived through it. At least Khalil Mack was a fair amount younger, right? So if we tie ourselves up into a contract with a 30-plus-year-old guy, who's to say he doesn't get hurt within the first 2 weeks of that contract? If he does, then we're cooked with $30+ million tied into that older gentleman who's more likely to come back and get hurt again. Like that worries me in a major way.
Every time you ink a contract, kids, you take that risk.
This is true.
Yeah, but if I'm taking the risk on a younger guy, the odds of him coming back healthy is so much higher.
You talk about game changer, man. You talk about game changer. They just won
it's true,
championships on the strength of what that dude provided up front.
Well,
and Poles has a relationship with him too, right? Like there's a connection there as well. But I'm hoping Poles doesn't decide to bet you're betting you're that's a sizable investment for Chris Jones.
Yeah.
I think that investment to me would make much more sense if we're talking about 2026. You know what I mean? We've gone through a season, we've gotten to wherever we've gotten. We reached the playoffs and didn't quite make it to the top of the mountain. Yeah, you dump money into a Chris Jones then and you bring in a mercenary to get the job done. Hey. But right now, I think that's putting the cart before the horse.
Especially with the development of the guys you drafted last year pointing upwards.
Let me tell you,
Dexter, I'm not sure how much they want to take snaps away from Dexter.
You're right, Chris. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. But listen, tell you something. That guy right there, Dexter's probably going to be that one day in the next couple 2-3 years. But he's not there yet. You know, he could make a huge leap this year. They hope
he needs the reps to do that.
Yes, he does. He will still get reps. See, the thing is, man, I'm telling you right now, with Chris Jones there, they have a really good defense, but that defense is nowhere as good. Those DBs aren't as quick and reacting to balls and making plays on balls without that guy up front creating that pressure from wherever they rush him from. With him creating that pressure, they all get a whole lot better, whole lot quicker, whole lot faster, and make a whole lot more plays.
I agree.
This dude absolutely changes your defense. Like I said, guys, I'm just here to create the conversation. We can all
I'm gonna use your word.
You show stirring the pot tonight, brother.
well, Keith, I'm gonna use his word. I'm gonna tell him you're not wrong, Nomad. Okay, you're not wrong, but. And because we know you collapse the pocket, that makes everybody on the line better, and nobody does that better than Chris Jones. But it's only so much money to go around, and Poles has not shown propensity to spend a lot. I mean, he's already paying. He's paying our guy on the edge, Sweat.
He's paying Sweat.
So if you're going to spend that money
jump in on this.
Go ahead. Man.
Think about this, man. Think about this. We don't quite know exactly how anybody's going to be used because we got a new defensive coordinator, and we know that his concentration will be on that defensive line. If we go back and look at how he used guys when he was over at where he just came from, help me out. I got a brain fart, fellas.
What'd you just say?
I'm talking about Eric Washington.
Buffalo.
From
Yeah.
Buffalo.
From Buffalo.
So let's take a look at how he used that defensive line and kind of assess who we currently have on the roster and how some of the schemes are going to be with the stunts and different things that he utilizes on that defensive line.
Well,
I'm not saying that, going to get Chris wouldn't be a heck of a move. I just don't think you want to spend 30 mil, because that's the price tag that's being thrown out there. Besides the fact, from my understanding, from just reading some tea leaves that's out there, that Kansas City already told him he's not leaving the building. They are committed to him because they're trying to make a run for that. They're trying to be the first team to three-peat. And
like I said, I'm just trying to start the conversation, man. I know
throwing them bag at him.
He ain't going nowhere. They gonna do what he got to do.
But then stop stirring the pot, man.
I had to, man, because if something changed, if they decided they didn't want to sign him and he ended up becoming somebody that hit the market, then I know for a fact.
No, I don't debate that at all.
Every GM in the league,
I don't debate that at all.
At the opportunity to get a game changer like that. But I digress.
Yeah.
One more player before we slide over into a whole different conversation is Kevin Byard, who's also, we talked about him on the Day Show the other day, I believe. Safety. I think, and I said that he's the best safety in the league. I think he's a 1A or 1B. Justin Simmons being the other from Denver. And so dollars and cents, I don't know. It's going to be interesting with Flus and his coaching staff's ability to coach up DBs. I got a strong indication just from Flus's history that they will absolutely draft a rookie and go out and try to play him. But I do believe the smart move will be to get them a veteran safety. And who that is and how much they pay for him, I think just my spidey sense tingles and says it's going to be a mid-tier guy, not a high-tier guy. I don't know what Kevin Byard would be asking for right about now in his career. I don't know how many years he's played, but I believe they go safety in the free agency and they draft one. But how much they spend on a safety, Kevin Byard might be a little bit expensive for them.
They had a lot of the only thing here is they had a lot of money tied into the safety position. So we're talking about a solid $12 million that was tied to Eddie Jackson before.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So potentially, if they do want to go down the road of getting a free agent safety to fill those shoes, they have a decent budget there. You know what I mean, that they can play within. I would be surprised if Byard costs 14. If he does, even that isn't crazy on a 1 or 2 year situation. Like I'd do it on a 1 year and draft my guy, and hopefully he starts next year. If you're looking to draft one of the later guys, if you're looking to draft somebody early on, Tyler Nubin, Cameron Kitchens, I'd keep my money in my pocket. All depends on what they do.
Or that boy Hampton, man. Yeah,
I
would too,
man. I know they're gonna get. I know they're gonna get a young one, man. They're gonna draft one or two, depending on what they can get. Where, how many draft picks they get. I think they do need the depth. Somebody needs to be able to play behind Jaquan. Somebody needs to be able to play behind the next free safety. So I think the depth is a need. It's not one of those situations where I think it's a want. I think it's a need. I think we need the depth.
Well, here's the thing. They got 6 picks.
Right as of now.
Mm-hmm. I'm starting a little worried about the speculation that we have to speculate on. There's some, we just lost we have a major hole at center. That goes without saying. We just created a hole at safety. We need to plug that. That needs to be managed. So, yeah, maybe Kevin Byard is a good stopgap situation if they decide not to draft safety. Like now I'm getting a little bit worried if we go the other direction. I'm not sure how they fill these holes, guys.
That's you know what? Since you went there, kids, and we're gonna talk about this. How about we do a quick break and do a station ID and come back to it on the other side.
All right.
The best Chicago Bears. Content. Anywhere. Catch Nomad live pregame 1 hour prior to kickoff and Nomad at Night postgame. And every Friday evening at 7 p.m. Central on all the most popular streaming platforms. And only on the Nomad Network.
You guys have been killing it with us for the subs and getting the likes up, man. Please keep that up and keep that energy coming. Everybody that's new to this chat and this channel right now, welcome to the family. When you come here, you are part of a family. We treat everybody the same. Whether you agree with us or disagree with us, everybody is one. We're all Bears fans. So just do us that favor and go hit the subscribe button. It's cost-free and it's painless. But back to that conversation we were having, kids. That's where everything doesn't make sense. Here's a quote. And I'm going to give you a quote that Ryan Poles said. And you see how this aligns with your way of thinking, kids. And you tell me how you respond to what I'm about to say. Whatever we do with the number one pick, we plan to come away from this draft significantly better. That's a quote from Ryan Poles. What did that sound like to you?
Well, sounds like it's like a super vanilla statement. Like how average of a statement can that be?
Come on, man. Let's suss that out. Kids, come on now.
I know where you're going with this, but at the same time, how deep do you want me to read into this average vanilla?
Just use your good rational mind and tell me.
So I'm hoping it means that somehow he's going to generate some additional picks out of what he has here. Once more, that could be from trading Justin Fields. It could be from trading that number one pick. I'm hoping to God it's trading the number one because there's so much more to gain. I just don't see them. I don't see them being able to fill the holes the other way around, even with trading Justin.
Let me couple that statement or that question I just asked you with the statement that Flus made multiple times on press row when he did the press rounds. We got to have depth. Couple that statement with what I just told you, what Ryan Poles said. And what does it sound like to you then?
Very similar things. I don't know, man. Like I really hope
what's the end game?
I really hope the end game is again to generate more picks and fill those holes, like draft blue chippers. That's what I'm hoping. Whatever puts them into that position, that's what it sounds like to me. But again, I don't know how he's going to get to that end result, and I'm waiting with bated breath. We're almost there, guys. We're almost there. This will all soon be unveiled. But holy smokes, man. The suspense is killing us all.
Krista made an appearance. What you thinking?
Well, hit me with remind me what the question was. Okay. I was trying to gather
something. So Poles made the statement.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever we do with the quote, he said, quote, whatever we do with the number one pick, we plan to come away from this draft significantly better, end quote. Mm-hmm. Couple that with what Flus said all around press row. We need depth.
Well, it's obvious. I mean, they're leaving little tidbits everywhere. They've got tidbits on both sides of the fence. They've got the tidbit on the we're going to trade the pick, and that's referring to the stuff he just said. And then, the statements about we want to do right by Justin. That can be considered tidbits on the trade Justin side of the fence. So my personal thinking, man, the logic to me is the value is not in the player. The value is in the picks. We're going to be hamstrung to resort to free agency to fill these holes we need if we don't trade the pick, if we don't get value for the pick. And the value comes from the first pick, not the ninth pick. So, I've just got to side with this, with logic. I mean, it's just more logical. And I'm not probably going to mention Caleb Williams' name again because that brother could come out and be a superstar. And it wouldn't change the way I feel about this situation because I believe we can win with Justin. I know we can win with Justin, but we have to build the team. If we draft Caleb Williams, we're going to have to fill holes, but we're going to have to do it through free agency, and we know how that works out. So Poles hadn't shown a propensity to want to do the free agent route. He does that just to fill gaps. He's going to build through the draft, and the way he's going to build through the draft is to gather more draft picks with the number one pick. That's how I read everything nowadays.
But you sure did play the good standing in the middle and straddling the fence there. You know that?
No, I think I'm leaning over in the
well worded. That was a well worded. I don't know what the hell I'm talking about.
No, I know exactly what I'm talking about. I think he's straddling the fence. That's why my comment was straddling the fence.
I was definitely straddling the fence.
Yeah,
I will own up to being a fence straddler for sure.
Because that's what he's doing, and he's doing that for a reason. He wants the value of both sides of the fence to go up as much as possible. So he's not going to lean. He's going to go ahead and get them splinters in his butt from the fence and just deal with it as he should. I trust Poles, man. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he's going to surprise a lot of people.
Go ahead, Keith.
Okay. I don't know if this is straddling or not. I'm just going to put it out there. First, I'm gonna touch on what Ked said in regards to what if he trade Justin Fields. The most he's gonna get for Justin Fields is a mid second round, maybe a lower second round pick. He's not getting for anybody that seems
to interrupt you. They are saying now that Fields' value is falling. That's the word now, that they're not getting offers they thought they would.
This is the thing. The value is falling because they're seeing that these young quarterbacks that are coming out, why would they want to go out and trade for a guy who they're going to have to, within a year and a half, have to pay upwards to over $30 million a year to a quarterback when they can go out and get one of these young guys and take their shot at one of those young guys. Besides the fact you have a more seasoned veteran in Russell Wilson who somebody can get at a much cheaper amount than even with Justin, for the simple fact whatever they pay Russell Wilson, the rest of it's going to be paid by Denver. So anybody that's really paying a close attention and are a business owner when it comes to taking money and where to place your money to get the best value, you're either going to get the best value out of a draft pick, or depending on where you're at in your situation as a team, how close are you to winning? Now, let's talk about two teams in particular that could be potentially close to winning with a seasoned veteran or a veteran that can take them there. We're talking about two teams. We're talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Atlanta Falcons based off of what they currently have on their roster. Russell Wilson can go to either one of those teams and help push them into the playoffs. I'm not saying he's going to take them to the Super Bowl, but he can definitely take them to the playoffs. So could Justin Fields. But if Justin Fields could take one of those two teams to the playoffs, why can't he do it with the team that he's currently on? Now, let's go move past there. With regard to anything else, as far as spending any money or anything, what are the Bears trying to do? They are going to have to trade back in order to fill the holes necessary. You can't do it with 6 picks. And really, it's not 6, because if you spend the 1 on a quarterback, you're down to 5. And you don't have a second unless you happen to get a second for Justin. And if I'm a team that's trading for a quarterback like Justin Fields, and I know that you're desperately trying to now trade him, I'm not even offering you a second. How about take a third for him? How badly do you want to get rid of him?
Well, I think
that's what you have to think about. You got to think like a business owner.
I think it's all huff. I think it's all huff anyway. I think it's all huff anyway. I think
it is. It definitely is.
And so I think I think, be honest with you, I think Justin Fields would be gone by now if that was the plan for Ryan Poles. I think he'd be gone already. And just to be quite honest with you, to answer my own question about the whole thing with Poles and what Flu said and both of them said, I think it was clear and obvious. I think, because I remember one other statement that he said that he had at that presser, or I can't remember, it was the in-season presser or when he started press row, when he was talking about, one of the things that disappointed him last year was he was really trying to get from the first pick to the second pick, and that didn't work out at the last minute. He was trying to double up then. And so he didn't go any further into it, but he felt like he missed the ball last year by not getting that done, getting from 1 to 2 and doubling down on his picks. And so I think this year he means to kind of get revenge on the draft for that. And I think this is the best opportunity he's ever going to have to be able to do it. And so that's why I think he's going to go. I think he's going to go try to double up, man, because like Flu said, they need depth. And if you're going to do something with this very valuable number 1 pick that you have, the goal is to get significantly better. And one player ain't going to help you do that. I don't give a damn who he is. I don't care how you play that in your head. Whoever's listening to what I'm saying right now, one player ain't going to get you, especially no rookie quarterback, ain't going to get you significantly better. Not at all. And so that's that, man. But let's do what we came here to talk about, man. Well, let's talk about some combine kids. Let's talk about how about this? Let's start with the bad news first, kids. From what you saw, is there a player that you were disappointed by his performance?
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to try and be positive. What I'm going to say some other things though. So follow me. I'm actually disappointed by the entire draft as a whole. The entire spectacle of the draft itself. It was a bit of a letdown this year. Just about everybody decided not to participate. And that really, to me, diluted the experience. Normally, these kids are going out there and everybody actually wants to perform, with the slight exception of maybe 1 or 2 guys, 2 special guys who believe again that their stock is above what the draft is going to give them. And in that respect, I agree. But this particular year, just about everybody felt they were above the draft, and the draft was just about useless to them and increasing their stock, or felt that the draft would negatively impact their stock. So, Brock Bowers just decided not to do it. Marvin Harrison Jr. decided not to do it. Caleb Williams decided not to do it. Like, the list of guys who decided not to do it are basically all the guys that everybody really wanted to actually see in this combine exercise this weekend. So that's a negative that I have. What I do have is guys who really jumped out.
We're gonna get to that. We're gonna get to
if
that.
you want to go to that, let's go to that. Did anybody have any guys who really?
Let's talk about the guys that might have stuck out for guys that you were looking for a little bit more and you didn't see. If you didn't really see nobody that jumped out,
can we go by position?
Sure.
All right.
Let's do that.
Let's start with the running backs then.
Okay.
All right. His top 10 times with the running backs.
I don't remember. I think I would imagine Ray Davis, I thought, would have been faster than that, but he didn't have on the field electric speed either. So 4.5 is about what
4.52 is plenty fast.
Yeah.
For his type of player. I mean, he's got those ankles, man. He's just a dude that can. I mean, he can deliver a hit. He's not a one-cut runner. He can do some bouncing. So he's got a little shake into him, like Bucky. Did Bucky not run?
No, he did run. I was just going to say he's probably the one guy if we're talking running backs, that didn't.
Yeah, I think he ran like a 4.6, man.
He ran a 4.6. I kind of thought he would run a little bit faster than that. He just plays and moves faster than that. So I was a little bit. He definitely does. Like I have to say that immediately. If anybody disappointed me as far as running backs were concerned, maybe Bucky. I thought he would clock faster. I really did, for sure.
Let me see if I can find Bucky's time. We can see who didn't disappoint. Third name listed there.
Hey, Trey Benson. Let me tell you something. That dude up there at the top from Louisville, Isaac.
Yeah, I looked at him.
Hey, he was one of the bigger backs there.
Yeah.
This dude was flying, man.
Bucky ran a 4.55, so he missed right out on the top 10.
Bucky had better catch the ball well because he didn't run worth for crap.
Your guy, Cody Schrader ran a. Here, let me give you a couple other times that don't show. Right. Bucky, Cody Schrader, who you guys were real heavy on, I think he gained 1,600 yards. Those are 1,600 SEC yards. He ran a 4.61. Audric Estime ran a 4.71.
He had a good time.
That didn't surprise us. That didn't surprise us. We know what type of back he is.
That's you might not get drafted, Speed.
Well, Blake Moore Blake Corum ran a 4.53. He fell out of the top 10, so his name's not on there. But
He's
again,
another guy that got my attention.
He ran a little bit slower than I thought too.
I
I'm not
didn't run slower than I thought he would, because
His
I said
drill,
earlier
bro,
when we went
as a
over
former
running backs.
man, I don't put a lot of emphasis on the 40 time as much as I do. I like to see how guys can cut and
you saw.
different things. And
Did you
that's
see his drills?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Who are we referring to?
Blake Corum.
Yeah, Corum was the
Corum?
guy I told you guys
Yeah.
during
He
when
did
we
well
went
in his
running
drills,
back,
and
when we
so
went
did
over
Bucky.
running back. When we went over running back, I told you guys he didn't have the long speed, but again, he's one of those guys with ankles. I mean, you know what? He's a human bowling ball. He's the second coming of the muscle hamster. So 4.5 I thought he'd run about 4.55.
And guys, I just so you know, man, let me tell you something. I'm the tape junkie around here. This stuff really doesn't mean anything to me, but it's entertainment for everybody else. The speed, like Blake Corum's game speed shows up. Bucky Irvin's speed on the game shows up. And that's what the coaches really care about. You know, this can, you know, for a feeble GM and a feeble owner of a team, that if this came down to the thing that's determining whether or not you're going to draft somebody, you're already losing, because it shouldn't. It's just a straightaway time. You see Blake Corum's game speed. You see Bucky Irvin's
And the way he affects a game, you
Yeah.
know, throughout the course of a game, the way he affects a game. Corum, Bucky, them guys can be game changers just on the way that they affect the game, man.
I would say that even
speed
about
is
Estime.
great.
Well, this is it. When you watch their drills, so Estime in drills looks crisp and smooth. He's just a big body.
Yes.
He's a big body RB. So 4.75 for a big body RB is about what you're looking at, right? Like that's around where he should be. He's rocked up. He's a big rocked up dude. Same with Blake Corum. Blake Corum's a little bit smaller, but he's like baby Hulk, and he moves smoothly.
Great center of gravity too.
Great center of gravity, man.
You remember when I was telling you none of this stuff really matters in the combine for running backs, other than, you know, the pass catching drills, how natural their hands are, how many times you see the ball hit the ground. You know who didn't do any good for himself in this one? Braylon Allen, man, one pretty much my all around favorite back, other than Trey Benson. Braylon Allen, I seen a couple. I didn't see every drill that he did, but I seen a couple of times, and I only looked at a very small amount of it. I seen him put 2 on the ground.
Yeah, he put 2 on the ground.
Hands, man.
Hands of stone, brother. Hands of stone.
Yeah, he put 2 on the ground. He didn't look like. What's interesting is I think he ran the same speed as Blake Corum, if I'm correct. It was pretty close. His speed wasn't too bad, but it was everything else that was a little bit more shaky with him. He had the opportunity to kind of jump out this weekend.
I don't see a time.
Drills were not smooth at all.
I didn't see a time listed for him. Corum ran a 4.53.
Okay.
Number one back off this board is 4.39. Trey Benson. He's going to be a problem at the next level, guys.
All right. Let's hop to the next group.
Wide receivers would be next, and we know what happened there.
Let me tell you something, man.
Yeah, somebody made himself.
I'm gonna give you guys a tip, and you might as well, man, because I'm getting tired of mock drafts, and I don't even know if I want to do one. But if I were to do a mock draft, my mock draft would have been me trading down twice from first to second. I mean, from first to second, the second to maybe 7 or 8. And my first pick out of that draft was going to be Brian Thomas Jr. at receiver. Yes. Then I would have went with an offensive lineman, probably would have got Talik Fuaga. And then I'm going back to receiver after that. And the next person I was going to get was Xavier Worthy. And I'm telling you, I told people this, and I keep telling people this, man. This cat right here can flick a light off and get in the bed and be asleep before it get dark.
That sounds like Ali.
Hey, it's the truth, man. That boy is fast, man. I'm telling you, man. And it shows it's not just straightaway combine speed. You see it in the game. So it's not both him and Brian Thomas.
I said
I'm gonna
Xavier
tell you.
Woolley from an
Yeah,
early time ago, talking
yeah,
about how he
Yeah,
reminded
man.
me of Tank Dell.
Hey,
yeah.
That's
You
what,
have.
that's
We've been
what I
singing those
said.
praises.
Right? I said this boy kind of look, smell, and feel like this year's Tank Dell. I'm interested, and then I started watching him on the return game, and I was like, okay, I'm in. We need some help in that return game. I think this kid does both. Dynamic. Who would have thought that he was gonna burn it down at 4-2-1? But um, I think everybody, the whole world is watching now, and we'll see where he winds up. Man, we might be looking at, like, let's be real here. We might be looking at like 6 or 7 wide receivers potentially in this first round.
This is
Now,
why this is kids. This
yeah.
is why they got to trade down, man. This is why they got to trade down. This draft class is so rich with A1 talent, especially at the receiver position, especially at the tackle position on the offensive side of the ball. You have to cash in and get some of this blue chip talent. This Brian Thomas Jr. is probably going to be the
He's the
steal
guy.
wide receiver of the draft.
He's the guy.
So
He's a true X, man.
He's gonna turn out to be the best X receiver out of this draft, I believe. But I'm
so
gonna tell you somebody
don't
else that look really smooth, man. I'm gonna tell you somebody else that look really
Tez
smooth.
Walker.
You're going to talk about
Odunze
the
look
cat from
smooth
Texas.
too.
You going to talk about Adonai Mitchell? Who you talking about?
No, he's saying Odunze.
Oh, Doomsday, yeah,
Odunze,
he's always
he
smooth.
looked really smooth, man. I'm
He
I'm
ran
not I'm
faster
not
than I
off
thought
of,
he
I'm
would
not
too.
off of him either, man. But Brian Thomas Jr., man, is going to be that guy, man, that we'll be talking about 3 years down the road. Said he might end up being the best receiver to come out of this draft.
I've been saying that for months.
I think we
And I
we
would
will
love to have
agree.
Xavier Worthy because I want to stick him in the slot and scare the bejesus out of defenses, man.
I will say this about Brian Thomas. I think he's going to represent, and before I say that, he made money. He might be go mid round, first round, but he definitely
You said
showed
mid. You said mid.
he might go.
Shit.
According to who's drafting.
No, no. Well, according to nothing yet, because we only speculating. But there's been where he's been slotted in the mocks, and that means nothing. But it's been in the lower part of the first round. I think
but
Shit.
he might be the third wide receiver comes off the board. I would draft Brian Thomas before Dunze.
I would too.
I would too.
Me
I
too.
love Doomsday.
I would draft Brian Thomas before Malik Neighbors.
I think he's good enough, and this is going to really piss some people off by me saying it. I think the depth in this receiving class is so good. I think if you want to do that double down and get the plethora of draft picks, it's not gonna be the end of the world if you don't get Marvin Harrison and you target Brian Thomas Jr. It's not going to be the end of the world.
Yeah.
In fact, you're going to come out like roses. I think they're both going to have great careers. Marvin Harrison, I'm telling you, this kid Brian Thomas Jr. is the steal of the receiver class.
And let me answer Berlissimo real quick. I say that Berlissimo not as a knock against Neighbors, but I think the Bears would be better off drafting Brian Thomas before Neighbors. Neighbors is a lot like he's a lot like DJ. So I think you take Brian Thomas and you stick him out on the X and leave him there. I mean, for the Bears, I think he would be a better. I would draft him first. That's what I meant. Malik Neighbors is a beast. I agree with you, but Brian Thomas Jr. probably for the value that we need, I would take him.
We need an
I agree.
X. Let's
Yeah.
put it out there, man. We need an X. Neighbors cannot be an X at 6'1". We need an X.
He could
That's
do
what-
it. It's just it'll be like two of the same.
We need an
people on the
X,
other
man.
side of the
They
ball.
want a big X. That's Brian Thomas Jr. That's MHJ.
They'll take.
And we
him.
already know. Me personally, because of the 50-50 ball, I lean more toward Brian Thomas Jr.
Well,
And I'm just talking about drafting to need. I'm not taking anything away from any of these receivers, but what do we need? We're talking about the Bears. So we
Malik
need an
Neighbors-
X.
Malik Neighbors is that explosive where you don't care if he's an X, Z, he's a J, a W. You don't give a
Okay.
damn what he is. But
Okay.
you know that wherever he lines up at, he's going to be explosive. Malik Neighbors is that good. You know, you can't. You can't, just because he's not of a certain height, I don't think that precludes him from being an X receiver. Just like DJ Moore is only 5'11", he wouldn't be considered a Z receiver. In most cases.
Well, if that's the case, we might want to throw Keon Coleman into the mix too.
Yeah, I mean, Keon Coleman is I think he's going to be one
Coleman
of those. I'm trying to keep this going so we can move to these other, because we're about an hour and we got about 15 minutes left.
So before we jump here, there's one guy that we should just address. What did you guys think of Tez Walker?
I think he made that list for a reason. He's smooth, very smooth.
I think he looked good. His time was decent. He's right there with Adonai Mitchell, but again, more length and very smooth. I thought Tez Walker made some money for himself this weekend too. That's just me.
He got on that list for a reason, but we gotta move on to the next position right quick.
Where are we going?
We're going to go to cornerback.
The CB.
Oh, buddy, I got my favorite.
See, this is another example of why you got to get a plethora of picks. These cats are too good, and every last one of these guys with the 4.28, the 4.33, the 4.34, all of that, you see it on the field. You see it on the field. So the tape shows you and shows the straightaway 40 speed. And so Nate Wiggins, here's my knock against Nate Wiggins. I don't think there's a chance in hell we draft him. Why? Because he's not physical enough. He's a little bit thin on the thinner side, but he's a hell of a sticky corner, got a hell of a man-to-man skills. I don't know, because they didn't play a whole lot of zone in Clemson. I think any corner can transition to a zone defensive corner, but I think Nate Wiggins is probably not the guy that they draft. I think if it's not TJ Tampa, if it's not what's his name, number 3 from Iowa, Cooper DeJean, it's got to be Quinyon Mitchell. I mean, because see, people forget he's so good and around the ball all the time. There's a reason why he's like that, and he kind of runs routes for receivers. Is because he was a receiver.
I think he's going to go too high for us to spend the value on a cornerback.
Well,
he's first round material.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, in the event that he doesn't, and they decide they want to prioritize corner for some of it, guess what? We're going to find out in the next 24 to 48 hours.
Yeah, him and Wiggins and Mitchell and Wiggins, I think they're definitely first rounders. Bottom of the first round, probably, but I don't think we can.
That's where the Cameron Mitchell or Richardson jumps in. Like, he looked good on tape. I liked it. I liked it. His 40 time was much faster than I probably would have expected. They might be able to get him a little bit further back, but maybe not now that he's clocked a decent time. I don't know. I'm just kind of glad that, in my opinion, we're not going to be in the cornerback market. That's just me. I'm hoping that's the case. These guys really, I'll be honest with you, outside of just speed and tape, I'm not really pulling for any of these guys, with the slight exception of the Cameron Richardson. Maybe.
And Kalen King ran a 4.61. I think
I liked your TJ Tampa, but did TJ Tampa run? Chris, do you have any numbers on TJ Tampa?
I don't have a number on TJ Tampa.
I don't think
he is awesome. I don't think he ran.
But he's the perfect corner for what they want to do.
I agree. That I agree with wholeheartedly, man. He looked real good on tape. I think he fits both the physicality and the scheme. I think he works very, very well. But it's weird that he didn't run. I'm not sure what that does to his stop.
All right. So
you guys want to move to safety?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
All right.
Man.
Yeah.
I think the guy that's really like Dominique Hampton to run 4.51 at 220, man.
He made money.
Yes, he did.
And who probably lost some money was Cam Kitchens.
I heard. I didn't see
4.65. James Williams. Cam Kitchens ran 4.65. James Williams also ran 4.65 at 6'5", 230.
That's crazy.
Holy smokes.
That's
Keaton
crazy.
Oladapo ran a 4.58. Josh Proctor ran a 4.55. Dominique Hampton ran a 4.51, as we see.
Did Tyler Newman run?
No.
Man, like
I think the class. I'm telling you guys right now, kids, Chris, Keith, follow me. This draft class is the most. I think it's the most thorough and complete draft class I've seen in a long time. But it's kind of it's heavy. It's very heavy at certain positions. And what I mean by it makes it extra valuable. And so what if you're a GM, right? If you're a GM, there are going to be some drafts where it's just like, oh, we got some pretty good ones in there, but for overall draft, it's kind of mid, right? But then there's going to be drafts like this. It would behoove you. It would behoove you not to cash in on multiple picks. This is a talented at defensive back, and especially at corner, at offensive tackle, especially right tackle, at receiver. Oh my Lord. I mean, loaded. Loaded. Like if you're talking about you need to build your team and put some blue chip weapons out there to really build really build it into a threat. This is the draft you do it. This is the draft you do it, guys. He will never, ever, when I say Ryan Poles will never see an opportunity of this magnitude again in his career. He will never see it again. He has to cash in.
Let me mention the Yada, our buddy Yada. He put up said Kitchens has those Mike Brown instincts though. And you are correct. If you watch his tape, your instincts can take a lot of time off your 40 because he's going to identify and he's going to react quicker. So those reaction times are something that we really need to pay attention to. That doesn't really kill me for Cameron Kitchens because I've seen too much good tape on him. But I was a little surprised that he ran a 4.61.
Yeah, his tape well overshadows his run.
Yeah, he plays faster, man.
You have to sort of give him that.
He's very instinctual. Very reactionary.
Well, they're doing something wrong with this combine, man. They need to change the whole format. Maybe pay all these kids for coming, make it a bigger thing. I don't know, man, but you want these kids to actually compete and give a damn about competing. And I think maybe they need to do something.
Part of it is they're making that money outside of the combine. NIL monies.
Hey, pay them.
Money's gonna change stuff.
It goes a little bit deeper than that, man. I think people get so enthralled in the whole spirit of it. I think they forget there's real people out there with real needs, joints, ligaments that can absolutely ruin your career by doing one extra event for the sake of the NFL and the fan base. To me, if you're in a certain position, there's two ways to look at it. If you're in a position where you may or may not get drafted and you get invited to the combine, you probably would want to come in and do it. But if you're somebody like a Caleb Williams that has what are you getting out of it? I can see why they would just say the hell with it, or some, cornerback or receiver that neighbors or whoever, Marvin Harrison say, I'm not getting nothing out of that. If I blow something, I'm blowing everything. Right. And so if you got options, then you probably wouldn't want to do it. And I don't blame them for that. I'm glad, and I hope more of them don't do it. I think it's a waste of an exercise, but I think the NFL is greedy and they marketed this well, and it's going to be a moneymaker. But I think it's more risk. I just don't like the risk. Every year, I'm just like, God, I hope these kids get through this with.
Honestly, a bunch of kids pulled up. There's a fair amount of injury this weekend, to be honest with you. But at the same time, if you look at it the opposite way, right? Like if you look at it as that player who's trying to make a name for himself, and this is how he does it, having everybody else decide, opt out, kind of dilutes your impact on the world. It's not even. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, Barrelissimo, you are right, my brother. You have been preaching about Javon Bullard for a while now, and yeah, he's truly going to get drafted sooner than most say. He ran a 4.47. I'm sorry, and yeah, that's been your guy. I've heard him come out your mouth quite a bit, and I agree with you. He's a player.
He is. He was on the list.
DT guys,
Well, who?
let's do the DTs. I'd like to get through all of them.
Let's go and get to him.
All right.
This was the most underwhelming group as far as I looked at it.
Well, the guy at the top made some money, man. I'll tell you what, he's back on
Yes,
my
he
I want him
did.
list. That dude looked like a freight train.
I'll tell you something, Chris. He was fast, he was quick, he moved very well.
Change of direction was off the charts
But,
for a man that big.
But when you watch him on tape, I'll tell you what I saw.
I watched, and you know what? Nomad, before you say that, I immediately went back to the tape, and I saw him getting double teamed quite a bit.
All right. What I saw on tape was flashes. It was very inconsistent. Very, very inconsistent. And it's not because he wasn't trying. It was sometimes you see some double teams in there here and there. He got double up.
He's got to work on his hand fighting.
But you know, the speed and the flash that you saw in the combine wasn't necessarily apparent when you watch the tape. You see it in spots, but not good enough because he was right there on the edge of making that top 10 list.
Saw
But
the motor.
He's a player now. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me in my criticism of him to subtract the fact that I believe 100% he's a player. He loves the game. You can tell he loves being out there, but him getting to a level of consistency, I think depending on where he goes, he just needs reps. And I think you'll start, it's one of those guys that if you see what you saw at the combine, that might be fool's gold from what I saw on tape.
Well, what did you think about Murphy and Herrera?
I heard all of these.
Both of those guys made money, I think.
I don't think they made money.
I do. Because honestly, I think this entire DT class, with the exception of those top four guys that you see here, I think I don't think they performed particularly well at this combine. That's just me.
No, they did not.
Watching their tape, completely different thing. There's some guys here that I think are superstars or future superstars. I don't think they straight up and down. I don't think these DTs did themselves any level of service this weekend.
Rook looked good in his individual drills. Rook looked good in his individual drills, man. He
did.
Yeah, he I think he made some money. Byron Murphy did too. I was kind of on Byron Murphy because I was watching so much Devondre Sweat. But Rook Roro, I like saying that. The brother looked good. I think he made himself some money.
I agree.
What'd you think, Keith?
He had really good bend. I like this bend. He worked really well within his drills. But like you said, to me it was a very underperforming group this year. I enjoyed looking at the D ends and the linebackers more than I did the D tackles this time. I was like, I made sure I took time to go make me a couple sandwiches doing
and
that.
Leonard Taylor did not perform as well as I'd hoped he would. His tape still looks good, but he didn't stand out to me. But he does on tape though.
I just tell you this. This is why I largely tune this out because the combine really tells me nothing. I think the only great thing that comes out of the combine is the fact that they get to interview with these GMs and coaches, and they get to find out what kind of people they are and get a little bit closer to the idea of whether you want to draft them or not. The tape on all these guys that are up here on the screen is some of their tapes are lights out, especially Rook, especially Dwayne Carter when you watch enough of him, even Mason Smith when he's right. Tyler Davis got good tape. Gabe Hall's got good tape. But a lot of these guys, Byron Murphy has some great tape.
You know what? Gabe Hall kind of looked Gabe Hall jumped out to me this weekend a little bit more so than on tape. I'll give him that.
Well, he's never going to play here, though. He's just not. He's not that speed. But I just remember what I saw on tape and what I saw in the combine is just like, yeah, that was a waste. It made him. It probably decreased if you're talking about value of anybody. If they were to look at that solely and say, you know what kind the 40 does nothing for I don't think anybody's draft status, especially as a defensive tackle.
No, it doesn't. That's just a list up there, so we have somebody to talk about.
Right. But you know what? Byron Murphy almost made that list, but he did not make it because of some other guys that I had my eyes on, which is I think Dwayne Carter edged him out. But Dwayne Carter, I'm telling you, I'm starting to see more and more people talk about him as of lately, man. I think he's going to be a player. But
and Deion Buford, I agree with you. I think Tavondre Sweat can play in this defense.
Oh yeah,
I think you bring him in, and he's the heir apparent to Billings.
Who said he can't?
There's been folks that said,
"Oh, okay, yeah."
And you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, we'll leave that alone. But,
All right, offensive lineman.
Let's go through that real quick.
All right. Got Roger Rosengarten, who was a name that kind of popped up for me in the last week. I kind of became aware of. Again, 40 times mean nothing for an offensive lineman. But Tanner Bortolini, kids, what do you think?
Like I said, he looked like a little Jason Kelsey out there. That's that little added speed, like under normal pretenses. Just so you're saying, Chris, I don't really care about speed from an offensive lineman. It's not really what I'm looking for, but I can see how it would. I can see how it would come into play and be beneficial. Bortolini's just a little bit smaller than your Jackson Powers Johnsons or your Cedric Van Pran. It's not as large a human being. Therefore, that extra speed just to get out and get to a block and put the block down, I think it would come in quite handy with him potentially under center, in the center position. I liked him. I thought he had a fantastic. He definitely brought some eyes to himself this weekend.
Yeah, another name that kind of popped out at me in the
I
last
just want to
week.
run some by kids right quick. Brock Lesnar's son was running in this 40, right? And was running in the combine, right?
Say that again.
Brock Lesnar's son.
Brock who?
Brock Lesnar.
Wrestler.
Brock Lesnar.
Frank Crum, man, from Wyoming.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was running out there. Jeez, man.
I think he made himself a little money.
Oh, he made himself a ton of money. Once more, not sure how valid speed is for offensive linemen. I'm really not. It's not the position defining metric. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just isn't.
Well,
but he went
I'm not sure the money matters anyway
with the
because
new
Brock
blocking
Lesnar's his
schemes and
daddy.
everything. Well, with the new blocking schemes and them having to be able to get up to the second level quickly, speed is starting to play more of a factor for the offensive lineman. So I think it helped. I know it helped him quite a bit. You know who else jumped out at me though? What is it? I think it's pronounced Amiri Smith.
No,
Amari Smith.
Amari, yeah.
Where did he go to? You mean Amarius Mims?
Did I botch the whole name up?
Amarius Mims.
Tackle from Georgia.
Yeah, big boy can move, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's what. I wrote my notes wrong. So.
Well, the biggest news for me for the offensive lineman was that J.C. Latham wants to play left tackle, and I've been singing that song since the offseason. I think he can play left tackle, or you can move him to right tackle and put right on the left side. But I wouldn't mind seeing him try to play some left tackle. Man, that dude is huge and he's nimble.
Well, is that all we got?
Well, yeah. Another name I wanted to mention. I'm gonna get out of here with that one. Is the guy from South Dakota State, Garrett Greenfield. I ran across him when I was looking at Roger Rosengarten, and he's a guy that can make some money too. He played at one of the small schools, but he might go mid-round too, and he's a true left tackle. All right, on the linebackers.
No, man, we supposed to got out of here 5 minutes ago.
Oh man, we're almost there. We might as well do it.
Well, you do it. Y'all like
I'm gonna get him in there, Berlissimo. Look at the name at the top there. 443 64.
Kalen Deloach should have made that list. He almost made it. Kalen Deloach is a stud, man.
He might be.
He's gonna get snagged up early now, and that really makes me angry.
Who? Peyton Wilson?
You know
Oh, yeah.
who I'm talking about.
I told you when he got.
Say what?
Ain't no linebackers going too early.
He's going to go higher than he was projected. And I'll guarantee he doesn't make it out the third round. And he's been projected below the third round. He's going no later than Edgerrin Cooper. Edgerrin Cooper will still be the first guy to go. I agree with you there. Peyton Wilson won't be long after him.
I think those. I'm telling you, man. People, Chris liked him so much he went right on through the fact that he's had 2 shoulder surgeries.
Never ignored that, but it's been 2 years ago.
So what? I mean, I'm just saying that's gonna
still medicals.
Yes,
still medicals.
If and you're not going. I want to hear what his medicals come out. I don't know that they'll publicly.
You won't, Chris.
Probably not, but I tell you what, just look at the tape.
Hey man,
anything else here?
These are some good group of linebackers, man. They're gonna all be studs wherever they go. It's about when they get playing time, how much playing time they get. You know what I mean? That's for every rookie. But I ain't taking nothing from Peyton Willis. I think Peyton Willis is absolutely a stud. I seen that right away in the first 5 minutes of watching it. I was just like, this dude right here plays like a damn Tasmanian devil.
Timed at 23 miles an hour.
Sideline to sideline. And he's in the right spots. It's not like he's out there playing half-cocked. He knows where he needs to be. And he's got the speed to boot. And
speed, instinct.
Size. And he's got it all. That's the only problem I got with him is, anybody that young with that and plays that position that has shoulder injuries that early, man, that's a red flag, man. Whether you want to see it that way or not, I might get him if I can get him later, but to expend a high end draft pick on somebody with shoulder, and man, that's all he's going to do is use his shoulders, and so eventually that's going to catch up to him.
Let's go on the DEs, man. Get out.
We got to get out of here, man. We got to get out of here.
We got 2 left, man.
We got to get out of here.
Let's get out of here.
We'll get them in the morning. How about that? I wanted to get out of here at 1:30, and let's do that. All right. So, guys, man, we talked about a whole lot of stuff tonight, but let's go around the horn, man, and break it down how you want to break it down. Let's give some closing statements and some shout outs.
Lots of shout outs. No Maniacs, there's some awesome new heads out there. Nick Rembert, Be Yourself. Yadazakwa, as always, big love, brother. Thanks for showing up. Hendrix, always talking at Caleb. Do it. Pepe Silva, we got some of our our folks out there. What's up, Pepe? There was also a Manuel. Where's Manuel at? Saw Manuel in the chat.
Manuel, man, have you guys subscribed? I just want to know.
Ron Winarski, yeah, man, like, share, subscribe, all you guys. Derek Borden, Billy Ocean, Caribbean Queen. You know what I'm saying? Dion Buford, just giving love to all you guys, a little bit of love back. Berlissimo, thanks for always showing up and always giving that love. It's fun to always chop it up in the chat, bears stuff, you know what I'm saying? Flex Diggs, thanks for coming out. Yeah, Manuel Garza, T3P Podcast. Manuel, like, share, subscribe. Thanks for coming through. Chris, what do you got to say, bro?
Hey, man, thanks for everybody that came. We appreciate you guys supporting us. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and like, and set your notifications so you know when you're going to get this awesome content. Kids, good to see you, my brother.
Yes,
Keith,
sir.
always good to see you, man. You're looking good in your office right there, man.
We love you,
Nomad.
We love you back, Mayhem. I just had to get that out. Sorry.
Mr. May, yeah, we love you, man. We love you. Be yourself. I hadn't seen you before, man, but it's good to see you bear down. Muck, good to see you, man. Hey, this is going to be a heck of a week. The next 10 days is going to be very, 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 very telling. And we'll be right here to give you. I'm sorry?
You want to tell them about tomorrow, what time and everything while you're at it?
I'm going to leave that to the boss, man.
Oh, okay.
Bear down, everybody.
Go ahead, Keith.
No Maniacs, thank you very much for jumping in with us tonight. I do appreciate it. We all appreciate it, actually, And again, please, like we said, like, share, and subscribe. The more people that we can, have pay attention to our content, the better that will become as well. As always, Nomad, Kids, Chris, thank you very much as always to be on here and just to talk ball, man. It's refreshing, man. But Barlissimo, my man. Um, we definitely gonna touch on some things that you highlighted for us tonight, Brian. As always, thank you as well. Look, guys, I don't know what to say, but the next 10 days, man, it's gonna be very, very, very interesting. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna close it out with that. Other than everybody have a very safe and blessed week. All right, guys. Nomad, it's on you, brother.
Well, everybody, like, I can't really say a whole lot. They pretty much took care of it with the shout outs and thanking everybody for being here. But I'll just ditto that. You guys know how I feel, man. I love doing these shows. Love the energy in the chats, man. I find a way to reset myself every time we do a live show. It's because I know you guys are gonna be here feeding me the energy. And that's how I'm able to do it every show. That's how we're able to do it every time we go live, man. We see all these people in here feeding us all this positive energy, and it makes it, even if you are at a standstill about how you may deliver or how you may come across, that you might be having something going on in your personal life that might be a little adverse to actually doing a podcast. But whatever I have in my personal life going on, by the time I get here and sitting in front of you guys, it's flushed and my energy is reset. I'm just ready to go when I see you guys' energy, because I have to match it. And so hopefully we do our job around here and we create the best content for you guys, or at least add to the content variety that's out there. Hopefully you guys would appreciate it, sub to it, like it, share it. And I'm just going to ask you to do that over and over again till people get accustomed to hearing it. So with that being said, love you guys again. Appreciate everybody for coming to the show. And for my co-hosts, our producers, Chris and Doodle back there putting up vulgar comments. Stop doing that, SHIT, man. But for everybody, man, on behalf of everybody, I'd like to tell you, leave you with these 3 words: love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.
Bear down.
I love the passion.